This is Gilbert Ray Campground. It is a county campground near Old Tucson. And you come in back there. This is the first bathroom. There are no showers. And I will do a quick walkthrough and let you know how things are. So this is loop H. It's a first come, first serve loop. So the site numbers are probably not all that important, but as you can see, they had to level a lot in a short rig, so it could be a problem. H1 electric has a grill and a table. Looks fairly level. H2 has a bit of a slope toward the grill. It has electric as well. H3, again more level, slopes a little bit to the front. H4 is fairly level, slopes a little bit to the front. H5 is pretty level. All of these sites so far are pretty small, short. H6, all of them so far also have electric. H7, and you can see that van is all the way to the back and he only has about 10 feet in front of him. So parking a car and a trailer in here may be difficult. H8, this is the longest one so far. You could probably fit a pretty good size rig in here. It's pretty level and it's pretty wide. H10, again a smaller length site. You'd be fine with a trailer, but not with a motorhome. H11 is a site that goes back a long ways, but there's a pretty good grade in it. It slopes from the back to the front. So again, probably a problem with a motorhome. You'd be okay with a camper trailer. Small site, probably not much more than a van in here, but if you did have a short trailer, you could park your vehicle beside it. H13, this looks like a decent site. You could back in there pretty easily, and it is pretty level. H14 and 15. 15 is a big site. And as you can see, there's a full-size motorhome in there and it's pretty level. H16 has a little bit of a slope on the front. H17 is a tent-only site. Buddy. H18 is pretty level and a pretty good size, 30 amp service. Hi buddy, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. H19 is a fairly level site, 30 amp service in the back. It would be a site you could fit a full-size motorhome into. H20 slopes to the front. H21 slopes a bit to the front. H22 also slopes a little bit to the front. H23 is big and level, but you've got H24 right next door. So maybe a little bit of a problem if you don't know your neighbor and didn't get along. Now there's a pretty good stretch here with no sites in it. So you may get a little more privacy in these up here, but they are closer to the main road coming in. So there is that to consider. So H25 is pretty level, but relatively small. H26, this is the one we saw when we first came in. As you can see, they're 4 inches off the ground with their tires, so probably not the best site for a motorhome of any type. Should work okay with a camper trailer where you can lift the front a little easier. We're going to skip Loop A because it is being rebuilt right now. So Loop A is closed at this point. So I'm going to go ahead down Loop C. A lot of these sites in their descriptions are significantly smaller in the description than they are in reality. So this is site C1. As you can see, it's a pretty good sized site. The description they give for this, we would have never fit in there. In reality, we would have fit without any issues. I wouldn't have liked it because of the angle, but it would have been an okay site. This is C2, flat, wide. I think you could easily fit a 35-footer in there. This is site C3. Slopes a bit to the back. They had to put some supports under the passenger side and the back. This is us in site C4. We were pretty easily leveled. Site's a little narrow. This is site C5. Nice level site. Would have been a little better than the one we have. So we didn't get a premium site here, but it was quiet last night, so not a big concern for us. This is site C7, and it slopes a bit toward the front. This is site C6. It's pretty level, but it's also fairly short. Nothing over probably 25 feet in that one. This is C8. Not too bad, but slopes toward the front. This is C9. Pretty level. If you were on the power side, it wouldn't fit more than about 30 feet. This is C10. Fairly level. Again, pretty short, 25 foot or less probably. C11. Again, fairly level, but again, maybe only 25 foot or so. This is C12. C12 slopes a bit toward the front. Seems to be a theme on that side, but it is wide enough to park a car if you pulled your camper in. This is C13. C13 is relatively flat. It slopes from the roadside toward the picnic table. This is C14. Pretty level, but again, pretty short, 25 foot maybe. This is C15, and it slopes a little towards the road, and again, probably only about 25 feet. This is C17. It's pretty long, but I'm not sure quite how you would park in here because it has a pretty good slope from the backside toward the road. This is C16 and it slopes a little bit from the back to the front, and again maybe 25 foot. This is C18. C18 is a tent only site. You can pull off here, but that's just for parking your vehicle. This is C19, and you can pull through there. That's a fairly level site. Only issue I really see with this one is your slide would be facing the road, and not a preferred way for us. This is C20. Big flat area. You could probably fit something fairly large in here, but again, I'm not real sure exactly how you would park. I would probably back into this site and get my back end by the picnic table, and then it would be looking out over the desert versus onto the road. Now there's a fair section here where there are no campsites until you get to C21 here. This is another swing-through site. Same issue though. If you come in here, you're going to be a little unlevel from the right to the left. This is C22, pretty small site, probably not much more than a van size in there. C23 slopes pretty good from the picnic table to the entrance here. Don't think you could level a motorhome there. This is C24, and you might have to finagle it, but you could probably fit a 30-foot trailer in here. And it seems pretty level. C25, again, a pretty level site. I think you could fit just about any rig in here and have room to park a vehicle as well. C26, a little shorter, probably 25 foot, but pretty level and wide enough to fit a car as well. C27, slopes from the back toward the front, probably good for a camper trailer, but not good for a motorhome. C28 is long, but slopes from the back to the front. C29, probably 25 footer, also slopes from the back to the front. And a little bit unusual here, all of the sites have 30 amp power, or most of them do, but none of them have water. There are a few spigots around the area, so you can get water, and there is a place at the dump station to fill your tanks. So if your tanks aren't full, I would suggest filling them when you get here versus hanging around and trying to figure out your situation later. Interesting dump stations here. They're not two in a line, they're two separate, and they one swings off to the right, one swings off to the left. With a motorhome, the right dump may be a little easier. This is Loop B, and the sites here are tent sites. So that's B1. Over there is B2. This is B3. And no power or water there, so that is an issue if you're trying to camp with a small trailer. But since they're tent sites only, it's probably not a problem. And the rest of this just goes down to the dump stations. So I'm going to stop it here, and I hope it helps.